Right now, let's shift to immigration. Now, you actually were on the southern border in Arizona when you were serving in the U.S. Marine Corps. You have been very outspoken on this issue. Meanwhile, we see the Biden administration, the policy's been a mess. They continue to refuse to even use the word crisis. Their point person won't visit the border. What's your take on what's happening down there based on your experience? And is there any hope that an administration that seems to be, deeply buried with its head in the sand might start to at least back away from an actively and ongoing failed policy?
So I did serve on the border as a U.S. Marine. I was in the Yuma sector there in Arizona, and we literally were surveilling the area and surveilling. We saw drug traffickers and human traffickers crossing that southern border. This was back in the 1990s. What I saw then pales in comparison to the just sobering and heart-wrenching images that I saw upon recently visiting the very same area a couple of weeks ago. I like to say it was like clown cars, successive cars driving up, still in Mexico, to a designated drop-off point, and a flood of people. So you had the coyotes, the cartel members out front, I'm told, by the Border Patrol agents, followed by mostly children in many of these cars. They would then be apprehended, put into kind of a paddy wagon, tested for COVID, and taken to a processing center. I'm told that many then would go pay off their indentures, and we don't even want to imagine what happens to the young children. Recently, we just last month, we saw 5 unaccompanied migrant girls, all under the age 7, found abandoned as they crossed the border. So this is really horrible stuff, and Vice President Harris owns this. The administration owns this, but Vice President Harris hasn't been to the border.
Why won't she go?
I live in a border state, and I went down there. So she answered Lester Holt infamously earlier this month about why she hadn't been to the border, and she puzzlingly responded to the question by noting that she hasn't been to Europe either.
Yeah.
So, this is not a priority of the administration, as much of a crisis as it is, and it's sad, and it needs to be addressed, and I'm not going to be silent until it is.
Yeah, you're not setting federal policy on this. You're working as best you can in the Senate, but you've been down there. You've seen it with your own eyes. Many members of both parties have. But the person who's been put in charge of this from the administration, the second highest ranking official in the executive branch, refuses to go, has not gone, I guess will at some point, undetermined, in the future. And yeah, that performance with Lester Holt was not ideal, I would say, and even some of her allies would be willing to admit that. Senator Todd Young, Republican, Indiana, joining us here on the Guy Benson Show. Senator, we appreciate your time. We look forward to next time.
Likewise, Guy. Thanks.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.